So I'm Omkar Prabhunik. Open source is basically any software that has its source code revealed to the public. Any reason to get into open source, personal interest they may be, it is a respectable reason. There's a lot of open source events around. Hacktoberfest, GSOC, MLH, other summer of course. What is Hacktoberfest? Hacktoberfest is the largest scale open source event going on regularly. In this event, you have to complete 4 pull requests or interact with 4 pull requests as a maintainer, but that's not too relevant for you right now, to get your swags or plant a tree. It is also one of the easiest open source events out there, with basically no bar for entry and only a few pull requests required for completion. To find projects to contribute to, you can find the existing link section that I've described in my blog before for that. You can go through that. And also, there's some recommended practices on what you should do. So I'll just post these in the comment section for anyone. To find smaller repositories, why you'd want to do this. Hacktoberfest is the largest scale open source event, and it's encouraged for users to find smaller repositories because for maintainers it's easier, and for contributors it's easier to contribute. Again, for some a much larger repository like say Flutter or Django, the code base is massive. And in the short period you have for Hacktoberfest, you really don't have enough experience or the type of knowledge to start interacting with these. And you'll find that you'll just get demotivated as you go through 2 or 3 weeks of creating an issue or trying to contribute to one, but you're still just understanding the source code. For larger organizations such as these, there's always GSOC or the Linux mentorship event. But hence, it is recommended for Hacktoberfest or something like that to find smaller repositories using the issue finders or contribute to some friend's repository that he's actively or he or she is actively maintaining right now. Another thing is that documentation pull requests are just as valuable as code ones. I maintained a section before about how documentation is incredibly important to open source, and that stands even now. Documentation requests are the most ones that you'll find in Hacktoberfest. Even in my own personal repository, most of my issues are those relating to documentation or creating new tests. That is because I know that new contributors, they are not as familiar with my code base, and they likely want to start contributing just as fast as they can. So to facilitate that, to help them with this, maintainers will create a lot of new documentation issues in this period. And they are very much needed since people who actually contribute to the code, they might find themselves tiring or not wanting to create the README or not wanting to create some particular sections. But this is an excellent place for newbies to start because while creating this particular section in the README, they still have to see what the actual code is, what the functions are, and where you would have to start with in contributing. So documentation PRs are just as valuable, if not more, in this section of Hacktoberfest. Finally, take advantage of this time. Hacktoberfest is an excellent event, even more so than GSOC or the other ones, in starting with open source. Because in this event, even maintainers know that there are newbies starting out. So we'll create some smaller issues, some smaller problems to fix that will help you realize just what open source really is. At the start, it's very intimidating to contribute. I know this myself because when I decided to start, it took me a good 2 or 3 months before I actually made my first pull request. And it was just to some small repository. It didn't matter at all now that I think about it. But for the me of that time, it was incredibly big. And again, this period is when maintainers are actively looking out for newer contributors. So take advantage of this time to start with open source so you can build a solid foundation for whatever you want to do next, be it participating in a larger event like say GSOC or Outreach, or to just contribute in open source as in general. Next, from a maintainer's perspective, Hacktoberfest is just what I described right now. It is a way for us to to make our repository more attractive to newbies or more attractive to newer contributors. So from a maintainer's perspective, they're doing all they can to look out for you. So if you find any issue with the repository, if you find any issue while contributing, feel free to mention it to them in the issue comments. Don't go to them directly on any other social media, that might be a bit uncomfortable. But it's fine to create one or more comments for a single pull request that you're making. Feel free asking for help. We are looking out for that. And the benefits of Hacktoberfest I've described right now. It's very welcoming to newer contributors, and there's always the swipes. Like you just create 4 pull requests and you get a new T-shirt and all. And the design isn't bad too, if I say so myself. At least for this year's Hacktoberfest. And it's somewhat of an achievement as well that you participated in Hacktoberfest and managed to contribute enough to open source to get these flags and your 4 pull requests. But Hacktoberfest is just the beginning. How do I move on after that? After Hacktoberfest, there's a significant period of time before you get to other open source events. Like the GSOC period starts in April something, but Hacktoberfest ends just in November. So you have a lot of time to solidify your foundation in open source, contribute to other repositories, create your own, and do all of this stuff to in time to participate to larger events. All right, so getting to the real me, the one that I suppose most people are looking out for, Google Summer of Code. So just what is it? It is a mentorship program sponsored by Google in which you have to create a project under an organization supported by them to earn a stipend and with the mentorship of a mentor the entire time. So again, this is the biggest one and probably why you're even here. अगर सिंपल टर्म में बोलते हैं ना, तो जीसॉक में बस गूगल तेरे को स्पॉन्सर कर रहा है एक प्रोजेक्ट करने के लिए किसी तो ओपन सोर्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए. In my case, it was Apertium with GSOC 2021. And it was an incredible event because unlike Hacktoberfest, unlike the smaller events, what you get used to are the larger organizations. Larger organizations like Flutter, CERN, Django, Flutter, like I described before. And in this, they specifically give you time to get familiar with the code base. They allocate you with a mentor who you can ask for any doubts you have at any point. And it's one of the best events for a reason. And that's putting aside the stipend for now. And as the name suggests, it's during summer from May to July. And to get selected, you must prepare an incredibly detailed proposal of what you're planning to do and submit it to an organization of your choice. They'll then rate all of the proposals that they get, and you'll get selected if yours stands above the rest. So tips on getting your own proposal selected are fourfold. Talk to the mentors early on. This is incredibly important. Like these people are the people who are going to eventually select your proposal. The way it actually goes is that mentors read the proposal or they write a comment on each proposal, and the organization admins pick those. So if you talk to them, if you interact with them early on, this can be through IRC chat in my case, or some organizations also create their own Gitter channels, or even through Slack. Talk to them as soon as possible. Don't just create your proposal and then disappear for the rest of the time. They are much more likely to select a proposal of a participant they've talked to or gotten a feel for rather than someone, like I said, just posts the proposal and disappears the entire other time. And interact with them even after you've shared your proposal. This can go something like once you create your proposal, or even before you create your proposal, ask the organizations, ask the organization mentors if this issue is even valid. Okay. In my case, it was the Apertium web extension. This issue was there on the repository for quite a long time. I went ahead and I asked, is this issue still available? Can I still contribute to it? Is this even wanted? And while the response I got wasn't that encouraging, it showed that it was and that the mentors were looking out for something related to this. And once I did that, I created my proposal, I shared it with them, and I actively asked for feedback on their mailing list. This is something that you should and must do because it's the main way you can get people to look at it. Otherwise, you'll just be one of the nameless hordes that have posted their proposal and aren't really doing much after that. The next one would be to be realistic. This seems counterintuitive for a proposal that you're making for something like, why shouldn't I make it as exciting or as new as possible? This is because from a maintainer's perspective, what we want is a solid, or I cannot speak from a GSOC maintainer's perspective, but it should be something similar. What they want is a solid project that can be done and will add on to their organization in some form or way. If you create something very outlandish that is not in line with their project at all, but includes just a whole ton of newer technologies that no one else in the organization knows, it's going to create a lot of problems. The main problem is going to be that they simply won't find a mentor who is experienced with the technologies you're explaining or the newer technologies that you're trying to incorporate. And the second, it just seems unrealistic. Even if you add that, why would they want that on their project? It's exciting to do new things, but for a maintainer, it's preferable to do something simple yet meaningful for the project rather than branching out into an entirely new domain that will just get abandoned once you're done with your GSOC project. And not just that, even open source organizations avoid stepping on each other's turf. What I mean to say with this is uh, there's Flutter that works exclusively with Dart. If you try to make modifications with their engine that supports some radically different language, let's say you try to incorporate Python into Flutter, this is unrealistic in many ways because one, you're including an entirely new language that there's no support for. There's no way you can get this done in the 12-week period you have allotted. More than that, there's unlikely to be people who can support this kind of thing. And even the actual thing, the Flutter maintainers won't want to step into other Python organizations turf or other languages turf. They simply won't want to do it because it's not worth it. So be realistic. It's fine to come up with something new, but at least try to make it align with the organization's motives as much as you can. Finally, focus on proposal quality, not quantity. Even speaking from personal experience, I only made a single proposal in the GSOC period that I had. You have a allocation. You can make 3 proposals, and I have friends who did all 3 but did not get selected in even one. This is because one, when you make one or when you focus on quality, you often create a Google document or a Word document with your proposal, and you go through several iterations with it. You go through the next couple of weeks, the next couple of days. Every day you add something new. You refine the existing sections. You ask the organization maintainers what you can add to it, and that helps you. That helps the quality of your proposal, and that will help you more to get selected rather than just spamming proposals at the organizations that are there. That is very unlikely to get you selected and would just be a waste of your time. And all of these things, all of the things that I've been describing here, finally boil down to just look at it through मेंटेनर्स perspective. अगर मैं GSOC का मेंटर हूँ, अगर मुझे किसी बंदे को सिलेक्ट करना है, तो मेरे दिमाग में क्या है? मेरे को कुछ अनरियलिस्टिक नहीं चाहिए. समथिंग सिंपल कि मतलब ये 12 वीक्स में हो जाएगा और मेरे प्रोजेक्ट को ऐड ऑन कर रहा है कि Apertium में they are a translation service and they have their own website. Something like an extension would be helpful क्योंकि यूजर्स तो वो यूज कर सकते हैं वेब पेजेस ट्रांसलेट करने के लिए ऑन द गो ट्रांसलेशन के लिए कि सीधा वेबसाइट जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. rather than and even something कि simple कि adding a new language pair to Apertium कि अगर मैंने देखा कि Apertium में already हिंदी इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन पेयर नहीं है. It's actually there, don't try going about with this, but just as an example कि ये पेयर नहीं है, so I can try contributing to that. Mentors will be very receptive to those kinds of ideas and you're very likely to get selected with one of those. But if you try to do something even more minor or an example of that would be something like they have their own website and they built it with their own tools. If you say कि ये सब उतना लेटेस्ट नहीं है कि ये अभी भी प्लेन CSS यूज कर रहे हैं, अगर मेरे को इसमें ऐसे डालना है, मेरे को टेलविंड CSS डालना है, मुझे जावास्क्रिप्ट इसमें एक्सप्रेस वगैरह सारे नए इसमें डालने कि जिनका इनका एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, मुझे है बट मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है एंड अल्टीमेटली वेबसाइट वैसे ही दिखने वाला है बस अब न्यूअर टेक्नोलॉजीज में जो और किसी को नहीं आता. So that's not worth it and there's no way for you to get selected with something like this. And some people also wonder if they're good enough to contribute to a GSOC project. And the answer to that is yes, no matter how new you are. Again, मैंने जब participate किया तब I'd only been familiar with open source for like a couple months. And फिर भी Hacktoberfest होने के बाद अपने कॉलेज के एग्जाम्स रहते हैं एंड कि उधर प्रेजेंटेशंस वगैरह करने पड़ते हैं, ग्रुप डिस्कशंस होते हैं, वो सब अपने कंपोनेंट्स रहते हैं और उसमें बहुत टाइम जाता है. So it's fine to be new. लोगों को पता है कि उतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं रहता and the main way you get evaluated is through your proposal anyways. मेनली दिखाना है कि मेरे पास अच्छा आइडिया है, मेरे पास स्किल्स है ये करने के एंड मेरे पास टाइम है ये प्रपोजल इम्प्लीमेंट करने का. So that's what they'll be looking for. Some experience with programming is always a plus and you need to be familiar with Git and GitHub. That is a compulsory. If you are not aware of Git or GitHub at all, you really don't have any chance of getting selected ahead. Linux is a plus. Like I personally installed it for my project. It is not a must everywhere, but it is very much appreciated. I have heard about people getting rejected simply because they, when asked if they can run this particular library, they replied with that it isn't supported on Windows and I'm only running that. People have been rejected for that. If you're extremely serious about it, look into Linux. It's not a waste. Like even past GSOC or even before it, I have abandoned Windows completely. Linux is so much more better. I could talk an entire hour about that, but that's not what this is about. The benefits of GSOC, you probably know about it even better than I do. You get exposure to larger open source projects like again Apertium, Flutter, Django, CERN, GNU, and there's a lot of major ones that you won't get exposure to through regular open source events. There's international credibility. So what I'm talking about with this, GSOC is an international event that's well known over the globe. Your CGPA or something like your marks, they aren't recognized. No one cares how much you scored or what minor hackathons you've contributed in. But a larger globally conducted event, that is a much more major thing, and people would recognize that even outside of our country. So you get that amount of credibility that is available internationally. Finally, there are a certain amount of job opportunities. I can say that having the GSOC label on my resume or on me has helped me in my own internships or my own interviews. Furthermore, of course, Google also tags that GSOC label on your email, and every if you apply to Google, it helps you a lot over there. Like you get one free. It counts as basically a referral. If you contributed in GSOC once, you get a free pass to the Google interview. You don't have to go through the resume screening round. And finally, there's the stipend. $1,500 isn't something to sneeze at. Like converted to INR, that's something like 60, 70K per month. That is about equivalent to the internships or even some of the jobs that we'd get eventually. So it's absolutely worth it and absolutely valid if you do GSOC just for the stipend. But I've spent a lot of time on GSOC and it isn't the only one here. There are a lot of other competitions that you can participate in, a lot of good competitions that provide stipend. Like for example, Outreachy provides a stipend of $6,000 as compared to GSOC's 1,500. That is a huge amount, and even MLH or some of these have their own stipends which encourage newer ones to contribute, but it's simply lesser known as compared to GSOC or Hacktoberfest. So I've put a complete list of these open source internships, open source competitions or events on my blog. You can check it out later, and there's even a link in the important link section for that, where there's a specific website just to name and list all of these new open source contributions that you can participate in. So I'll just give a few examples here apart from GSOC and Hacktoberfest. There's Outreachy. Outreachy is an open source event that provides a huge stipend, $6,000, to lesser advantaged members of the community. The, especially women, like 91% of Outreachy internships are given to women. I know that can be discouraging for some, but for girls, it's an incredible opportunity. You should be trying it. It's similar to GSOC or MLH, where you'd get allocated a mentor who would help you create projects for several open source projects. And you'd go about your projects or your work with that mentor. Similar to GSOC, there's also Google Summer of Documents. From last year onwards, Google Summer of Code, it does not recommend or it does not encourage documentation related projects, because unlike Hacktoberfest, this is a 12-week long program. You're encouraged and even expected to contribute to the code. But they also know that documentation is a vitally important part of open source. So to help with that, they've created a Google Summer of Documentation event that is similar to GSOC, but you only contribute to the documentation. The benefits of participating in this are that not many people know about it. Your proposal is much more likely to get selected, and the stipend and all remains the same. Furthermore, you don't really have to know much about the organization, or you'll get to know that eventually, but you don't have to know the programming language. You don't have to use their tool the entire time. You are simply contributing to the documentation. So that gives you a huge leg up in the number of organizations you can apply to. There's also the MLH Fellowship. MLH Fellowship is a program that goes on twice in the year, once in the summer and once, I believe, in December. You can even apply to it right now. In MLH Fellowship, again, it's similar to GSOC, in which case it's similar to Outreachy in the sense that you get allocated a mentor and a stipend that helps you contribute to these open source projects, and they guide you throughout the entire project or throughout your entire journey. These ones, or there's another one with this. There's the Linux Foundation mentorship, which is one even I'd be looking at, because while GSOC helps you contribute to some of the more popular ones like Flutter, Django, and these projects, the Linux Foundation mentorship has some of the core elements, some of the core technologies that you'll be working with. For example, the Linux kernel. This is a massive project in itself, the Linux kernel, and contributing to it isn't an easy task. It really wouldn't be capable even with just GSOC. So the Linux Foundation has a mentorship for that, where you'll get allocated mentors who have been Linux maintainers for years, and they are very experienced. So if you want to contribute to something very big, like the Cloud Native Foundation, the Linux kernel, some GNU utilities that are used in operating systems and are integral part of corporate servers used everywhere, then some of the largest operating, but in some ways not as well known projects can be found through the Linux Foundation mentorship. Again, an incredible opportunity and something that is very much being proud of. So these competitions or these internships, open source internships, along with other ones, like there's smaller ones like the Girl Script Summer of Code or the Summer of Bitcoin. There's a link to all of those in the blog. Don't worry about that. All of these help you with one thing. Maintainers want to introduce you to the project and want you to be active components or active contributors to the same. So take advantage of these, participate in them, and try to go as far as with it as you can. And especially the lesser known ones that I've mentioned here. GSOC is incredibly popular, so you might not be able to get into that. But these lesser known ones like Outreachy, Summer of Bitcoin, people don't know about it as much, at least in our colleges, and it's just as significant as of an achievement. So you have a much lesser competition and more familiarity with the thing. So it will help you no matter what. So look into those as well.